Donald Trump has really been on a pretty steady comedic decline since being elected president. The only thing he's really good at in life is inheriting money and dunking on Republicans and being a messy bastard.
Work in the press.
But I mean, look, I guess if you want, I mean, some people might get sensitive to this because this is definitely a guy's just brain in pure decline here. But this was funny from yesterday. This is Donald Trump with Tim Cook. Tim Cook was at a table with Bolsonaro a couple of weeks ago in Davos. So the Apple CEO, very comfortable consorting with fascists. Here he is meeting with the clown fascist in chief, Donald Trump.
I used to say, Tim, you got to start doing it over here, and you really have. I mean, you've really put a big investment in our country. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. But we're...
That's also not true. Of course, Apple still is hiding a massive amount of assets in overseas tax shelters and using sweatshop labor in their hardware and manufacturing. But let's just play that one more time.
Put a big investment in our country. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. But
Jeff Amazon sent naked pictures of himself. It was sad.
Bill Windows. I don't really like that guy.
Bill Windows, great guy.
I want that to be purposeful shade. It's probably not, though.
No way.
That's the milk people are in my brain.
If you could abstract away from all the bad outcomes, Trump is, without question, the funniest president we've ever had.
Oh, yeah, Obama never did so. Obama's just like, yeah, Tim Apple's here, whatever.
I think JFK or Lincoln are also very funny.
JFK actually would do the like, Tim Apple's here.
JFK,
like he would do the shade.
JFK was talking to Eisenhower during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Eisenhower says, like, I don't think that'll make them shoot them off. And they talk about nuclear missiles.
Jesus.
And JFK's like, oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, God. No,
Wow.
JFK, I don't want to get into the whole JFK debate, but one thing that you just cannot deny is that the man had very well-developed sense of irony. In that speech at American University, which is, who knows? Maybe he would have followed up with policy. We don't know because he was assassinated. But where he gave like the basically a call for like really de-escalating the Cold War and pointing towards disarmament and talking about how like 70% of our body is water and we all share that same water and the ocean. I mean, it is a great speech taken in its own terms. And the thing though, it's funny in the beginning, it's a funny piece of historical kind of trivia, but Robert Byrd is there, the senator who died, only a couple years ago, and he's already a senator. And Robert Byrd, another extremely complicated figure, and in many ways a bad figure, but in other ways a very admirable figure, who did apologize forthrightly for his badness. But at any rate, he was a poor guy from West Virginia, so he was getting his degree at night school from American University. And Kennedy said, like, I have a former colleague who's here, who's receiving his degree. After working nights for several years, I'll be getting the same degree in 2 hours. It was just like the type of joke that you would do today. It was very interesting because you see, like, we talk about how comedy dates itself quickly, and JFK's like the president and his like sense of irony and sensibility. It's like you look at Reagan and there is something like, what was going on in the 80s that people thought this was so amazing? And then you look back at Kennedy and you're like, yeah, it makes sense.
Relative to previous presidents.
Yeah, just on a cultural level.
I also like the stories about LBJ's hog.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, LBJ is hilarious in entirely different ways.
And, I mean, my God, again, I'm erasing a lot of history here, but, if not for Vietnam, the guy would be looked on pretty fondly. I think there's something about like there hasn't been like an SOB who was like occasionally on the right side in like quite some time. Like a guy like just like stories of him like terrorizing segregationist senators. There's something like very satisfying about that.
The image of the hamburgers will live in our minds forever.
Yeah,
That's
Trump
right.
gave us hamburgers.
Never forget.
Which I think we undercovered on this show.
Yeah, we did undercover on this show.
No, maybe not.